I started skateboarding in the year of 2007. When I first started skateboarding, I grew up in the middle of absolutely nowhere. All I had was just what I could make in my backyard. So I would make like boxes and my landing would be wood, and I would just I would take this door frame, set a piece of plywood on it, and then put a piece of plywood on the ground, set it on a hill so I could skate it as a gap. And that was pretty much the only thing I could skate because I didn't have like a single street spot around me. I started skateboarding when I was like 7, and when you're 7 years old, you don't really think a whole lot, especially with the way skateboarding was back then. Like, it wasn't as popular as it is now. I skated for like 2 years until I was 9 years old, and I got the chicken pox and I quit skateboarding. And I was super into sports, and then I reunited with skateboarding when I was in grade 8, so I was like 13 years old. And where I grew up, I actually had dial-up internet, if you guys are familiar with that. But basically where we lived, we had like a downgrade from dial-up internet, so it was like extra slow. I could never go and watch video parts or just find out what's going on in the skate industry because I basically did not have internet. I met my friend Sam Blackmore, and me and him would skate together all the time, and he actually had pretty good internet at his house. So after skateboarding, we would go to his place, and he showed me this page where it showed a list of sponsors. I think they were like fake sponsors, but there was just so many, and me and him were set on this company called Fuel Energy or something like that. It doesn't even exist. I tried to research it and I just brought up a whole different company, and there's just no sign of that ever existing. You pretty much had to apply for it, and we both applied for it, and they pretty much just said, yeah, you're sponsored, but you still have to pay for the product. But that just got us super stoked, and we'd go out and skate all the time. We'd go back to his house and we would just try and research different companies because we were just really into that. Like, we just found it super interesting how you could get sponsored. I emailed this clothing company. It's I can't even remember the name of it now. I'm pretty sure it was DML Clothing, and I sent them an email, and they replied and said that they would start sending me free packages of clothing. And the videos I sent them were pretty bad, and I have no idea why they wanted to send me packages, but I'm pretty grateful that they did at that point in my life. Me and my friend found this skateboard company called Struggle Skateboards online. They basically recruited just young skaters and told them that they were riding for a company, but they didn't really get boards. I think we would get like a deal. You buy a pro board and they would send you an extra one if you were on this like recruit sponsored team or whatever. You guys might be familiar with Diego Najera, however you say it, but he actually was AM for that company at the time, and he's a big name in skateboarding now. So it's kind of crazy I seen how far he came. Just from being in contact with Struggle Skateboards, I always got to watch Diego's footage. It was Struggle Skateboards. It's pretty embarrassing. It wasn't even really like a sponsor, but at the time it was the coolest feeling ever. Basically from 2009 to 2013, I just completely neglected trying to get sponsored. I didn't care for it at all. All I wanted to do was progress in skateboarding. It's kind of funny how I got sponsored by Eastside because I worked at KFC in the same mall as Eastside Board Supply, and I would go in there every single day on my lunch break, and I would just look around, and they knew who I was because I was a local skater and they were local skaters, and they were just always super nice to me and they were super cool. The manager at the time, Gord, used to always come to KFC and I would hook him up, so I would always go in there. And then one day he asked me if I would be interested in working there. So I worked there for a few months, and just randomly, one of the employees pretty much told me that I was already on the team, and I have been for a while, and I had no idea. And I was fucking tripping. I was so stoked. Even being 19 years old, I felt like a kid again. So I was sponsored by Eastside Board Supply. I started entering contests. I won a few games of skate contests, and I won this contest where it was like the best run or whatever. And yeah, I was just getting product, and I was super stoked because it was every single thing I imagined as a kid, and I was making it a reality because I put so much time into skateboarding. I didn't even think about being sponsored. I just focused on skateboarding because that's all I wanted to do. It was like 2 years later, I went to the indoor skate park in Moncton, and I was just skating. I was having fun. We were there filming a video, and I was with my friends. Everyone was killing it. Indoor skate park was closing down, and the owner of Legitimate Skateboards, he came up to me and pretty much asked if I wanted to ride for them. There's a guy named Steven Steves, and he's a phenomenal skateboarder, and he rode for legitimate skateboards, so I was just super stoked that he asked if I wanted to ride for them. I had to talk to the manager of Eastside Board Supply and make sure it was okay that I was getting boards from a different company, and they said it was cool, so I started getting boards from Legit, and I still had my shop sponsor where I could go get my shoes, bearings, and every other thing I needed. And then like a month later, I sent out a sponsor tape to Center Distribution through Eastside Board Supply. They told the shop manager that they were super stoked on my skating and that they were gonna start sending me packages of RDS and Grizzly stuff, like the shirt I'm wearing. Oh man, I was on cloud 9 when I heard that. These were brands that I pretty much never expected to be associated with, but to get packages of those clothes was just mind-blowing. So basically how it worked, I would send them a sponsor tape and they would send me a package, or they would send me like 2 or 3 packages in between each tape. So I would try my hardest to go out and get street footage to send to them so I could get more packages. And it was just so much fun going out and skateboarding every day and just like trying my hardest. I was so motivated to get street footage, and it paid off because they would send me the sickest packages. I got like endless amounts of stickers and so many sweaters and t-shirts I'm so grateful for. And I was pretty proud of myself at that point because I went out every single day and I worked my hardest because I had a goal that I wanted to achieve, and I finally achieved it. It was seriously the sickest thing ever. Just last year in 2016, I met the guy from Neil Bearings, and he was super stoked on my skating, so he asked me if I wanted to be a part of the team. There was no other local riders on the team, it was just myself because the company is based out of California. He just thought I could help out the company a lot from my videos and just like promoting them. I just went out every single day with goals in mind, having fun, and that's how I got sponsored.